From sports to culture, mental health to economics, politics, relationships, and life issues.
Sit down and catch up with Aaron868 and Ricardo Mitchell as we have casual conversations on serious topics.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
Sometimes we reach 6 o'clock and people just switch off because it's like them fellas coming on now to talk at kind of heights. And then other times we come and people be like, yeah, I want to hear them talk. I hope today is one of those days where the listeners want to hear us talk.
I didn't know that there were days where they wanted to hear us talk at all.
I would hope that there are days that they want to hear us talk. With that being said, it is now 6:01 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
Culture Crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we have to say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest that Columbus slide, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, that's Tony P, but the P this week stands for...
Yeah, that's you.
Perfection.
Perfection?
Yes, and perfection, because perfection is something that we never actually see, but somehow, in some instances, we can connect with it.
Interesting that you would use that as the word of this week, because there are so many things that we try to achieve in life, and we have to understand that perfection, though a resolute term, is also a relative term, because what perfection is to Joash is not perfection to Ricardo, or what perfection is to Ricardo is not perfection to me.
Correct. What will we eat? I find let's start off real philosophical. This one land with a perfection, and we could ascribe to, and we could, and then you come in with the whole perfection relative to the individual and the situation. What eat? What come in?
Honestly, you asked a very good question, because I ate a mango and that was perfection. I don't know if you ever see the video, but I realized that somebody loves me. Somebody loves me.
I've never seen that video.
We can sell it for you.
For real.
Yeah. There's somebody brought you a mango.
Now I had to pick the mango, but the fact that somebody created something called a mango that's so sweet and perfect that we could consume. I know it had to have somebody that loved me.
God loves you.
Yeah, certainly.
But outside of, you know for sure God loves you.
Yeah.
And no, because if God created all trees and everything, when we went back to the, wonder if that mangoes in the garden are eaten by.
Probably.
He probably didn't taste the mango yet, and that was the problem.
If you eat mango, she would not want something else, right? You know, leave that alone.
Yeah, why did I pose that question?
I want to know, let's start at the deep end of the pool this evening, right?
And I still can't tread water.
We have a friend that we spoke to some years ago about that. I wonder how she would feel hearing.
Whoa, there's an improvement. I said I can't tread water.
But you can swim
Yes.
until you can't swim anymore.
Yes, and when I get tired, I had to stand up.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't forget the mechanics behind each other.
Yeah,
What I'm moving up good.
The time what to do.
because it's like they had to put your arms and stamp, don't
And then you took a butterfly. Okay.
Yeah.
So you too, you can swim by your cat, right?
I could tread for a little while, but I'll get tired.
We don't have any.
Yeah, you could float
Yeah.
on the back.
Yeah.
You can float on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a odd one.
Then again too, if you try to float on your back here, your center of gravity, it's not
Thanks very much.
You just
Who needs enemies?
who needs enemies?
Who needs enemies when I have Ricardo?
Partners, right? Partner.
Right. With that being said, this is the living room on the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. I am yours truly, Aaron868. I remind each and every time that culture is my code, and I sit here today alongside firstly my bro with no fro, under the flow, always on the know and in the go.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage, and the host of High Noon.
And I ain't come up with anything for Joash as yet. He had to get my about a week again.
All right.
Right. But this young gentleman who is budding to become eventually a host of his own show, a host on his own platform, and also a GGTK, a good guy to know.
That's right. Good guy to know. Always connecting you to the source and connecting you to my web.
Of influence.
Hey, big.
Yeah.
As I say, web, remember Spider-Man coming out Montana, fellas.
Yeah, watching that for sure.
I feel that I go cinema and watch that.
The list of things for me to watch is getting longer.
Yeah, that's on you. You need to, you know, and that's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Ricardo.
My word.
Because we understand that in what? We understand that in life, the need to work is real because work is tied to income. Income is tied to providing. Providing is tied to living a comfortable life or a life that you want to live. But as we have established on numerous occasions here in the living room, a part that we tend to forget is rest
Right.
or relaxation. And I'm glad this came up because we are surrounded by a lot of information in the public domain about issues in our country. We are surrounded at home by issues within our home. We are surrounded internally issues within our health, be it mental or physical. We are surrounded by a lot of information. And I think with all that information, a lot of us don't take the time to understand the importance of rest and relaxation. Myself included,
Yes.
right? I can't speak for Joash because
Listen. All right, let me put it like this, right? You know me, and that's peace. Yeah. I'm concerned about it.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. Honestly.
Okay.
Making some effort.
So let's pose the question here inside the living room firstly, because we want you, the listeners, to understand that we don't just speak from positions of not privilege, but positions of not understanding. Because we want you all to understand that the things we discuss are things that we have to internally discuss and process as well.
Yeah, we have to navigate. Anything that we have a narrative for, we have to navigate.
Right? So now I pose a question
To Josh.
to both of you. What is your rest and relaxation schedule like? Do you include that in the part of, I can't say daily because one cannot put aside time for rest and relaxation every single day because some days will be harder than others. But is rest and relaxation something that you consider within your overall schedule?
Josh.
Ricardo?
Aaron.
Ricardo?
So this is what happening.
I'm posing the question. So I can't ask the question and answer it. Then it's best as me alone here.
You can get out to you could go back, 2017, remember on a stretch where it was just you.
Well, I know that, but
Hey, Ricardo trying to buy it.
I know that we are where we are now because you are the guest that never left. So hence me posing the question to you, Ricardo, and to you, Joash, is for an answer from both of you. I'll answer after.
All right, first and foremost, well done, sir. You successfully detected the inflection. One time he was like, wow, shut that down. All right, so I will answer with a little story. There was a day, a very heavily communicative day, where I probably spent 6 or 7 hours in varying forms of communication. And
So a normal work day.
wow, and then went into,
When I say work day, sorry, I mean hours wise.
I guess, yeah. And that evening, I attended a meeting where I was present, but I was not necessarily heavily involved. Got out of the meeting and started organizing to process it. And I spent maybe 2 hours that night, like just listening to music, and I put on an old video game on the computer. I spent about 2 hours while the stuff processing it, but I spent about 2 hours where I wasn't working. And it has been weeks since I did something like that, where I was just like, you know what? I good, I good. And I just got on pyong. About 2 hours playing game and just listening to music, not working, deliberately. And when I woke up the next morning, I woke up feeling guilty. Like, I woke up thinking, wait, you play game until you went on sleep? The devil is a liar, eh? I mean, yeah, I did play game until I went on sleep. But then again, I woke up feeling guilty about taking 2 hours to just be. Yeah, you know, not work, not productive. It was just to decompress, and I woke up feeling guilty, and I was like, thank you, Father, because it highlights that my alignment is horribly off. If the day after taking 2 hours out of weeks of almost continuous work, 2 hours to just, hey, let me just chill before I go and sleep. So to answer it, it is not a part of my regular schedule. And I think now I have to be more deliberate about it, because I'm seeing that I will keep creeping back into the workaholic need to produce spaces. So in terms of your short answer to your question, I don't designate time to rest, and even my rest is generally some form of active rest. Like, I would try to do something that a task I enjoy more than other things.
Now, active rest is not bad. But in terms of the guilty feeling for the rest, that is something that...
And if it was scheduled, he wouldn't have that. It was something he knew. That
So if you had in your calendar, Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., play a game.
More like
You're
11 to 1 or something like that. Long days.
No, understand, I just call that time,
I know, I just try to share, you know, that is...
It's okay. It's okay, Ricardo. You know,
Is it that people partners? Go ahead, Aaron.
So if it was in your calendar, your almanac,
Yeah.
right? That says from Tuesday from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, you was going to play a game, and you did that, would you feel better?
You know, that's a good point. I think I would have, just because I would know that I was deliberate about doing the things that I enjoy and also that help me to relax, as opposed to, I feel like I taken an active grip on my life, even just in that small space.
and it's less of an emotive response to what is going on. You felt like if you just reacted,
Yes.
it's how you felt.
So now bear with me, because
No, there's way for.
I want persons to understand. Now, in budgeting, people like to go with the philosophy that you need to budget for every single dollar. Right? Because if you have money that is not allotted to something, then you just go and spend it frivolously.
Right.
Right? So is it that you now, Ricardo, are taking that same principle that the 24 hours of the day have to be allotted specifically for you to be productive or you to be viable?
No, I'm going to answer with an unexpected transparency about something else. I've recognized that there might be tendencies to addiction in my family, right, just based on family history. One of the progresses that I have made is recognizing what has become addictive behavior. Because it might not always be a thing you're addicted to, and sometimes it's behavior that will generate a result, which is a thing. But anyway, I could not drink, not smoke, not gamble, not lie, not watch porn. I have a lot of things that I could not do and say that I'm beating my addictions. But then there are things that I can do which still support that same addictive nature. And being a workaholic is one of the ways that I end up drifting into exercising that addictive nature in a more productive, less harmful way. However, the fact remains is if I start doing work, I don't want to stop. And I will prioritize this thing over other important things. So in essence, I just switch out one addiction for an addiction that I might be alright with.
So you switched out an unhealthy addiction, and there's a reason I use the term unhealthy, because alcohol, liming, those things could be deemed unhealthy because of the kick the can down the road head aspects they're gonna have.
Yeah, the escapism and those.
Right?
Yeah.
But you replace that unhealthy aspect with something that you deem to be productive.
I would say healthier,
Okay.
but not healthy.
Because you can say that there's an unhealthy addiction as well. If it's taken overboard, you can have detrimental effects.
Because no, Josh, I'll come into you now, because there's something that, and the reason why I taken the back seat in this first is because I have my own story to tell on it.
Yeah.
But there was a job I did, a job I was called for last November,
Night agent.
right? And I didn't go to do the job because I wanted to prioritize that time spending it at home. But because of who hired me for the job, I still wanted to go and show my face.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the person to think that I did not prioritize the job that was given to me. And when I showed the face and I explained to the person that, hey, I only came to show my face because it's you. And then the woman said to me, so where were you? I was like, I was home. I was spending time at home with the missus. She's like, no worries. I understand. She's like, because the work important, because you need the work to be able to provide for the family. But what you have shown is that you are willing to work around to continue to provide for your family, but still make time for your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuck with me. And that is why when I heard Ricardo talking about replacing the unhealthy things with work, that just immediately jumped in my mind. Because for that woman to come and tell me that day, is like, wait, work important, you know, but that balance between work, family, self-preservation, because I'll call it self-preservation, is very important, and you had to find that balance. And Ricardo was watching back an old episode when we paraphrased Marshall's The Truth and talked about life is about balance. Mm-hmm. Not the type of balance Marshall's singing about, but life is truly about balance.
I don't want no two cars.
No, I would love two cars.
I was talking metaphorically.
No, but I would love two vehicles.
Oh, you mean actual?
Actual vehicles?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Josh, on to you now.
Yeah.
At this point, I have to acknowledge DJ Aaron868 YouTube channel where he was viewing the past episode of The Living Room. Right? Check it out. On pause. As you will. Thank you for that, sir.
Man, it's out of both people to subscribe and thing else.
Subscribe, boy.
Yeah. So answer one time, right? My sleep schedule varies. It isn't very robust or any kind of thing. I try to rest a little bit every single day, and that rest is active rest, similar to Ricardo, which has to do with going on my phone, listening to a little podcast on FC Barcelona, some sports, ESPN FC, some kind of thing like that, and sometimes reading. But even that, again, active rest. I don't really spend time doing nothing at all, and that is something I'm trying to work on. When I look back, I see improvement, based on my life. It was really, there was a point in time you couldn't find me home. If you see me home, something wrong. It's really a blue moon kind of vibe. But right now, it's something I'm working on. Sundays is one of the days I really try to have a little more rest, at least take that time to also call around family members that I don't talk to all the time. And just one person will get a call, my sister, sometimes my dad, because we don't live together and stuff, so working on it.
Okay. Happy belated birthday, Paris.
Yeah. Shout out to my dad. Birthday July 11th. Hope you enjoyed the day, man.
Yeah, July is a big month.
What's the date today? Today? 13, 14,
31.
13, right?
That's now Saturday.
Friday.
Saturday.
Tuesday. I just called in days ago.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
It was Friday. It was recently.
Because
The 14th, 3 days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, now the thing about it is, Josh, I'm happy to hear that you are saying that you could acknowledge where you were to where you are now.
But I'm nowhere where I need to be, right? That's the truth. I'm still very active. Like when you I was talking to you earlier before we started, and I told you how life has been going in the professional space. I didn't even acknowledge everything because it was like, you know, is this, is that, is this, is that, you know, a lot of things I'm doing.
And that's the thing, for you now, one of the things that has shifted for me was before there was a mentality of comply then complain. But it has to shift our mentality of comprehend then change. And if you don't comprehend why things are how they are, how are you going to change it? So to hear that Ricardo could understand why his rest feels guilty, or you comprehending that I do a lot of different things, I juggle a lot of different balls, but yet still I am setting aside a day to be it rest or catch up. That is comprehending where you are. And that is something that a lot of persons don't tend to do, because part of why asking rest is because mental health is not just understanding how to cope with everything going on. It's understanding also that there has to be a balance with rest included, to allow the mind time to rest, because a 24-hour active mind is not going to be a productive mind. And Ricardo?
It is productive. It's just what it produces. Because you know what it also produces? Stress.
And stress is a silent killer. I saw an article online talking about a woman that would have lost her daughter by violent means. And she would have basically grieved to death. Which is why I'm asking you all, because I can't go and ask her or ask anybody else who would have been affected by crime or criminality. I don't want to engage in that discussion. I have to ask the people in my immediate sphere, what are we doing to ensure that we cope well? Now, when we have these discussions, it is not for you to copy and paste it and go and do it for your life. It's for you to comprehend where you are
And what you
need.
Yeah. Honestly, like my mind blowing up right now. I'm blowing up right now, so I don't even have to speak. Much less for the listeners out there. I hope that they are actively answering these questions as well, because rest is really something that we don't want to ignore. There are times where I've seen that, yes, I was trying and I'm struggling to complete tasks, but when I get my rest on that given day, I'm able to do way more. It's like I'm doing more with less. Because you have your rest. You do more with rest when you get your rest.
Yeah. That is excellent internal resource management. And I put it like that for a reason. When like this push through till you finish mindset, it costs you more to make smaller gains. Whereas if you take a break, you catch yourself, you take a rest or reset. That's why people are always advocate for things like power naps and so on and so forth. When you jump back in the task, something that might have taken you effort to address and time to figure out, everything is firing a little more quickly. So you spend less because you're rested. So I value that highly, especially for creatives and the artistics, the ones who don't have a technical people have a clear finish point. Creative people will always feel like this thing you're doing could get better. So knowing when to call it is important, because you mightn't stop working. However, if you have a designated point of rest, then you stop. You mightn't stop because you're finished, you'll stop because it's time to rest. Right? DJ Aaron868, fantastic mix Friday night, not Friday night, the Friday before. No, was it Friday night? Anyway, I pulled back the program to listen to it because I couldn't get to listen to the Friday night live at 6 to 10 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM. I couldn't listen to it live. And I pulled it back to listen to it while I was working. And that first hour, he mixed bad. So much so I messaged him afterwards, hey, I hope you record that mix because, it was real good. He's like, nah, I made some mistakes, so I didn't bother. And I'm like, but am I the only person who heard them mistakes? Would have been him, the creative, who's also creative/technical. But to me, the listener, the value I would have gotten from that mix, he would not have gotten from it because of the lens through which he viewed it. So sometimes you have to establish checkpoints because the lens we're watching something through even if it's well intended, it might still be a little smudgy.
Yeah. I'm thinking because the world and Trinidad and Tobago, by extension, it's evolving into a kind of workaholic culture where there is no cutoff time or day. 24/7 is the way. So you're seeing businesses adopting that new culture to try and make profits, gain more sales, have the edge on their competitors, and it's working for some, you know? How people get interested in a 24/7 industry?
It's funny that you ask something like that. I saw yesterday someone talking about setting boundaries is not for other people, it's for you. Right? And if there's fallout from the boundaries, then let it be.
That means it's working.
Now, the thing about it is, if you work in an environment that demands you to work outside of your working hours, I'm going to paraphrase one of our government ministers, then find another job. But that's also very hard to do given the current state of the job market. What works is that you have to set boundaries with your management. There's a girl that I happen to, her videos come across my TikTok feed every now and then, and she goes through different ways of interacting with HR or with managers about their lack of boundaries and coming to employees at asking them to jump on for a meeting at 6 p.m. when the workday finishes at 4, or telling them to come in early because they want to have a meeting before the start of the workday. And it's like, no, my workday ends at 4. Or not because you choose to work late means that everyone else has to work late. There's a difference in asking somebody to come in early today because of an urgent and important situation, as opposed to asking somebody to come in early today because I want to have a meeting before the start of the workday.
Yeah, plenty of urgency is just poor planning. Yeah, poor planning. You hit one of my sore spots. Listen, people, let's be real here, right? You know how some people are just takers, and as the givers will have to learn to set a boundary because people have no problem taking everything they could take. A lot of the workspaces we function in, we chasing this grind culture that we've adopted. And what ends up happening is we keep giving in and giving in and giving in. So the exception becomes a precedent and an expectation.
That's quite something real all the time in there.
Right? It probably is all the time. I know it might be very, very timely, but because of
when emergencies become the norm.
Yeah, emergency. And see what.
Yeah.
That's classic. That's classic stuff. Yeah, it cannot be an emergency if it's a constant state of being. It's kind of like priorities. You can't have more than one priority. If it's more than one priority, then neither is a priority.
Correct.
It's like being special. If everything's special, then nothing's special. Right? Anyway, see what he did there. This is classic stuff, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that we make exceptions, and those exceptions become a precedent. And because we did it before, the person will be like, yeah, but ain't you already? So why can't you now? And it becomes an entitlement.
Because, Jane, I'm not doing it this time. I have something else to do, Jane.
Well, you and Jane need to have a discussion as to what all our policies are and what or how are you going to navigate that going forward.
And I'm glad you mentioned policies, because I would advise everybody who works at any company or business place, learn the policies, read up on the policies, because that could be the difference between you getting a meeting with HR for something that is not wrong. If the company policy states that you have to, if you are asked to stay late, you get time and a half pay, then at the end of the month you get straight pay for even if you work 8 hours overtime. You know the policy of the company that says any hour worked after my 40-hour work week is supposed to be paid at time and a half.
Yeah.
Why are you not paying me time and a half? Oh, because there's no, brother man, it's in policy, it's here. If you are equipped with the knowledge, then you could defend yourself. Again, comprehend, then change.
What you want to know?
No, it's a relatively slow because one thing we have to accept, and in the paradigm of rest, now you're going back to the workplace, is we live in a time where the job market is an employer's market as opposed to being an employee's market.
Facts.
So an employer will get rid of an employee who is highly educated on policies.
Yeah.
Because that person becomes somewhat of a threat.
They're difficult to manage.
They're difficult to manage. But you're not difficult to manage. You are informed as to what is right or wrong within the workplace. Something as simple as an employer trying to tell you that if you are sick, you are not going to get paid. The company policy may state that we don't pay for sick days, but there's a national policy.
Yeah.
Again, knowing these things helps. A company telling you you are a consultant, but you are still an employee and not wanting to pay NIS health charge or PAYE for you. Those things are rights by national law, which should supersede company policies. But
I think policy is a beautiful word. Policy, while it can be a reflection of culture, it could also shape culture. Because once you have policy in place, then it trumps personality. I will share very, very briefly that I worked once in an environment where the training was subject to the person, to the individual that you were working with. So what happened is, while there might have been standard operating procedures, you were trained in the style of the person you were working with. So you could tell who would train with who because of how they function.
You didn't believe you are touching on a really big peeve of mine, I know.
So what ends up happening is that there are inconsistencies in the way an operation would flow based on who was working at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime your and I said this yesterday at high noon in a different context, but anytime your system is so subject to the individual, then you do not have a robust system. Your policy supposed to trump the presence of any personality at the time.
One of the things for me, now I would have been tasked with the responsibility of having to train OJTs at my workplace. And one of the things I constantly tell any OJT that trains under me is I will teach you the framework. Take that framework and make it your own. Because a company doesn't need 34 Joashes or 15 Ricardos or 10 Aarons.
No company would benefit.
No, it would not benefit with 15 Ricardos. It would not.
It would be very, very efficient.
It would not.
Very efficient.
You know what? Anyway.
It wouldn't be efficient because the Ricardos would be like, wait a minute. No, you wait a minute.
It will be a lot of the Spider-Man memes where it's like everybody is up, right? But the thing about it is, for me, I've always said, I will teach you framework. You implement your style. I will teach you who to reach out to and tell you what you need to communicate. But you have to implement your style. It does not benefit the world for after I leave an organization for the next person to be another Aaron. Whoever fills my boots after I leave an organization needs to be the best version of themselves in that position.
I want to throw something in and then kick it back to you. One of the company is Aaron Inc.
Well, that's a whole different story, yeah? Because even if it's Aaron Inc. is guided by principles.
Mm-hmm.
If Aaron resigns from Aaron Inc., the principles of Aaron Inc. will have to persist.
Right. So what we're saying is, as a part of an organization, you might be a representative of the organization, and you should at best be a reflection of what it is you're representing.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, which is why I have things like standard operating procedures, there are principles that have to be maintained even if CEO and founder Aaron retires. All right?
Now, let me give you a better example. Let's say I decide to hang up my headphones and stop producing the Super and Soca mixtape series, but I hand that over to DJ Joash.
Yeah.
I'm not going to expect Joash to come and mix the way I used to mix.
Right.
But what I expect Joash to do is understand the principle that Super and Soca is built on. and that he would take super and soca and now put his spin on things, but understand the foundation that it is to play soca for people to enjoy, to play soca that you might hear and be, wait, you don't know me hear that one? To play soca and be like, I never hear that, you know. When that song come out, boy? Because there's a difference in playing soca that you ain't hear in a while and playing soca like, God, what sing a soca, boy?
I actually
No,
right. Well, my example again. Let's talk about what is
Okay, okay, Suno.
what I say is about a routine.
Okay, Suno.
Right. Joash, right? Aaron mentioned, Super and Soca, and we say DJ Joash, and he said he's gonna do mambo music, as his take on Super and Soca. You're allowed to become and express your own thing, but you're also responsible in many spaces for training youth.
Yeah.
In some cases, you want the youth to replicate what it is you're doing. And then in other spaces, you want the youth to know the fundamentals and the basics that they could express themselves in a way that the team could work with and could. So how do you navigate that training space or expecting people to function the way that you want them to, but still be them? Because in martial arts, case in point, you want that precision. You want that, all right, this is the thing we want you to.
Yeah.
But isn't that principle? I just asking. But isn't like the techniques, wouldn't that be considered principle that you are teaching?
In martial arts, it's a bit different, and especially for the different there are different components of martial arts, including like the katas, kumite, sparring, or self-defense. If you're doing self-defense or sparring, you'd understand that we are all different in terms of size, shape. Our capabilities would vary. So we teach different things. However, each individual would have to kind of develop in a way that suits their size, their style. Because as a short individual, for example, one thing I had to understand is that people could reach me faster with their legs most times. Well, or with their hands. Like a tall guy could reach me with his hand, and I can reach you with my hand in certain distances.
Them tall people.
So what I would do is usually, I don't want to give out my secrets.
No, don't need to know but
Don't cast on him.
Yeah, small thing. But what I would usually do is
Josh, ensure 120 frames per second. The ball is faster.
Yeah, ensure that speed is my advantage. So work on different techniques, and immediately as a fight starts, I would move in quickly and score with my legs most times.
And negate the long limb advantage.
Yeah, once I'm in an inside range, all he could do is score with his hands. But my inside range, well, I could score with my legs, but this inside range for him, he cannot score with his legs because he's too tall. Right? That's teaching someone to spar or even self-defense. Same principle, right? But if we're talking about katas, where you're teaching them forms, you're teaching them how it should be, like the exact way that something should be. You are judged on how close you could do it to the Japanese, basically. So, however, I was taught, and I can see out if my teacher is gone, I can search up videos, see how it was done. It has to be done this exact way, and if it's not, you could even it's so serious. If you're not wearing the exact uniform, you could be disqualified or not be allowed to participate. It's very strict.
So again, principle or the foundation of it.
The foundation of it is principle, and everything is, I believe, is built on principle. If there's no principle, then there's chaos.
Well, I know, but we're just looking at the example. What I'm saying is, if you have to teach somebody it, you teach them the foundation of it. And then if there's something, let's say, for example, when it's just a sparring, then it gets to the point where you have to now apply and understand what advantage or disadvantage you have for you to know what to add again in that situation.
Exactly. So I teach them the different methods, things that they can do. However, they'd have to utilize these differences. And I'm not holding back things. I wouldn't say, okay, well, punches won't work well for you. I wouldn't teach you how to do a proper punch. So you have to teach people in different ways, things they can do so that they can navigate their
teach
space.
them. But again, you had to know if let's say you had to know how to apply what you learn in that situation.
Yeah.
But I can't hold your hand through every single situation and carry you through.
Definitely can't.
Now, one of the things I want to highlight, because what you spoke about there was the need for precision versus the need for applying the principle in a way that works in the moment. Right, that's also something that you would see in football, because you want somebody to be able to function in a specific way. However, you also want the player, or the way that player designed, to be able to express as well. Otherwise, at the end of the day, too, you could tell players how differently they function and they are allowed to be. What I'm saying is, in terms of a business, right, an organization, you can't go into a franchise and teach them the basics, the principles, and let them handle it how they see fit. The franchise is as precise as possible replica.
Now, I understand the point that you're trying to make, Ricardo, and I'm interjecting here. I understand that if there are certain things that they have to be standard across the board, certain types of food need to taste the same if you buy it in Point or if you buy it in Piaco. Certain things to drink need to taste the same if you buy it in Point Fortin or Mayaro. Right? That is there. But the customer service experience, you are not going to expect Keisha and Keishon to all come and speak with the same intonation at the different establishments. However, there are guiding principles that they should follow. And why I use that as the example, and go with me here. If I walk into a store in Point, hi, good day, how can I help you? You expect the same greeting if you walk in at a store in, let's say, Rancho Quemado, or, well, not too close, or Toco.
Yeah, like, you only know something nowhere.
But man, anyway, right? The principle of it is the two have to be the same. The interaction needs to be similar. But you are not going to expect all employees to speak to people the same way.
That's subject.
However,
situation.
No, but it comes back to principles again, because then you'd have a customer service guide, right? This
Correct.
is how you would hope people would interact, but every situation would be different, and you'd have to learn to navigate.
because the thing about it is we live in a society where if everything is so guided, then people will be like, nah, I'm looking for something more organic. So for an extent, especially when there's customer service fields, you need to be able to properly code switch, as we would say, to be able to interact or meet the needs of the customer.
Right.
Which is why I said earlier, if I am training you, I will teach you who to communicate with and what you are supposed to say. But I don't expect you to copy and paste me, because me may not work. You may work because of how you word something. You may get the sale that I couldn't get because you used Ricardo's eloquence. Joash may get the sale that Ricardo can't get because Joash related to the person that, hey, you want to buy this paint? Boy, hear what?
Let me Josh will just smile at them and you see.
Well, that's one thing. No, but what I'm saying is, I wanted to use a related example where he would,
disarming grin.
beside the disarming smile, he would also be like, you know what? I don't feel, he might see a man coming in a football jersey and be like, you know what? I think a red might go better with that blue.
Yeah.
And disarm the person that way, because wait, now this man is a Barca fan.
Yeah, I could be like, so then why you wearing that jersey? Why you pick that color? Right? And we have different styles. You probably gonna be like, that's not a man, you jersey. Come out my store.
No, brother, man, I would never do that.
But what I was saying is that there are, you don't have to, you can add the tools to your toolkit. You don't have to throw the screwdriver because you get a hammer.
And I think this is what allows us to actually evolve and get better, because if someone is so set in copying, then there's no growth, it's just stagnancy. And the world is changing while you remain in the same.
Yeah.
So you're not even staying stagnant, you die and you're going further behind.
Polaroid, Kodak, Tower Records, Blockbuster.
And I'm gonna say, and Blockbuster for me is the worst one. You had the opportunity to invest in something that is now one of the leading platforms.
BlackBerry, their strength was security and corporate, and they didn't evolve past offering be specializing in those things. So even the thing that you are the best in the world at, right? If you don't make adjustments, you run the risk of becoming a whale oil salesman. Right? At the end of the day, the world is evolving around you, but you need to be able to be consistent in the reproduction of a principle, but you also need to be able to grow. So I agree with what you're saying. Hey, the catch. And this is me being you. So it's not him. It's me being here. Right? I'm just a dude playing another dude. A little no Tropic Thunder?
No.
Tropic Thunder? No?
Please go proceed.
Anyway, alright, yeah. So
Because it's confusing the whole thing there.
no, that's it. So this is only doing Tropic Thunder. We need to watch Tropic Thunder. Anyway, you don't want a replica. However, there are spaces where replication is the only way to reproduce, or you're getting it wrong. So if you want an organic experience, you go to the mom and pop's diner. If you want consistency, you go to the franchise. We as individuals need to be able to recognize that there is a need for us to be able to function in those spaces or across those spaces. Because some places are perfect for you being you. Other places have specific requirements based on what they need to operate properly.
Correct.
And we have a generation that there's an overcorrection that happens in society. There was a generation that was, hey, forget you and these feelings and expressions and creativity thing. A lot of people walk, fall in the system, and just do as you're told. Go along to get along. And that is a generation that overcorrected by saying, hey, I'm taking a quote Vaughn the other day on his social media. He was like, you can't be asking for you can't be taking a sick day because your aura feels off. Right? My aura's off. The energy in this room isn't right. What?
And then go and create your own room.
Where exactly, right? But where in our policy does your aura being off qualify for sick day?
Correct.
So I find be you, but it also have a play in between.
It's extreme, but maybe there's a little communication barrier there, and the choice of words is the issue. Because
I find it talking like
maybe, you know, if the quote-unquote aura is off, it could affect how they feel mentally, you know?
How much time we have left?
we could get at 12 minutes. Let me give it 10 to 12. 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right. Now, Joash, I understand that there's a language barrier between the management and the new employee coming into an organization now. I myself face issues with that language barrier because, yeah, I'm sounding real old there, but it's a fact of the matter.
You're harshing his vibe, man.
Because I listen to younger persons where I work, and then I also look at it that sometimes I don't understand what they are trying to portray about how a situation makes them feel. Because the terminology being used by them is far removed from what I use.
Hence the need for consistency.
Right? Now,
Does that happen?
the thing for me is you coming to me and telling me, and this is a real scenario here, you need a mental health day. As a manager now, you have to understand the importance of it. If you come and you take 4 mental health days across 2 months, as a manager, hey, we also offer mental health help. Let's send you for counseling. If you or counseling is available, if you like to, you don't accept it, but yet still over the next 2 months, you take 6 more days. Now a question has to be asked, what is the issue? Most times the issue cannot be explained. Now, there we go again. Within those 10 days that were taken, because of young persons need to post everything on social media, places of work are saying that persons are taking mental health days to engage in activities which are not accepted at the company, to abuse or utilize substances which can harm themselves or bring disrepute to the company. If you are taking mental health days to go home and I hope I would say it's the right term, and take a smoke, that and the company offers you help, you are not utilizing the day for the right purpose. You are abusing the term.
Yeah, but
And
so you just know what suppose holding a medis is what really gonna, resolve my need for mental health.
I think I understand what you're trying to say.
I understand what you're trying to say. Because you're playing devil's advocate here. That is well accepted.
I almost became the same, but no. Honestly, that's just that not solving the real problem. So the employer definitely should try and get involved in terms of trying to see how they can.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So someone saying the aura off might be acceptable 1 day or 2 days, then they get the time. But then it now becomes, how is the aura off? What can be done to correct this?
Correct.
And most times the answer is never given.
My order respond to titles like, correct.
Well, the aura might respond to a warning letter soon.
So I think it should be treated fairly. I mean, nobody is they can't really just be exempted from. You have policies.
And again, be back to that. Now, companies need to develop mental health policies. HSSE should also have an element of mental health with it.
So HSSME?
I don't know what to call it. I don't want to...
M bracket? Sorry, I just playing the fool off. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, but whatever the policy decides to update it to, companies need to have a mental health policy.
For the uninitiated, what HSSE stand for?
Health, safety, something, I can't remember.
Security, environment, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so, I can't remember. You need to have a big HSSE.
Using one of the phraseology that you do.
Yeah, but I can't remember, but I know what it is.
So here is not Joash as the young blood, right? And you get when somebody saying or a dog, we might think like, what? You might be like, I understand where it is you're coming from. So here the catch now. I want a mental health day because my aura off or the vibe here not sus or I don't know. I just straight out things so. You need a mental health day. Does that qualify under your sick leave or your vacation? Because you need a mental health day because your aura off and you're going on the beach to relax.
Sick.
So is that a sick day?
It's a sick day.
Alright.
Yeah, because it's a health issue. And let's be real. You've felt it and you've ignored it and then you wish you took it. So let them take it.
So what you're telling me is if I was working for Joash.org and I have 14 sick days and all these sick days are on a Friday. On a Friday. All of them are days that I am on the beach. It's taking this mental health, sickness, wellness day that I'm entitled to.
Right, but you was open about it being a mental health.
Yeah, but still no. Won't be accepted. There's a pattern. I'm learning these things now. It's patterns and companies observe patterns.
I like to tell you, I'm thinking that this is a real nice conversation for us to continue. In terms of, we wouldn't wear the same clothes because it'll be a different week, right? But I'm thinking this space is a real nice space for us to pick up and continue navigating next week because you're realizing...
Have a lot we didn't touch on yet,
right?
To be honest.
And we are spanning 20s, 30s and 40s. Right, in terms of representing the
20s, 30s, and 40s.
All right, so you're going to go and come back.
So 20s, 40s, and 30s.
20s, 40s, and 30s, right? We span in different, but for now, we span in different decades for now. And even within this window, we've seen the evolution of not just the workspace, but language, expectations. We see that right here in this little window. Imagine you are someone who started a company in 1975, right? And in 2026 now, you're responsible for the employees that coming in that 30 and 40 and maybe even 50 years younger than you. What you want to hear about aura off and mental wellness days when you come up through the Cold War, right?
You come through the coup.
The coup. And the Cuban Missile Crisis and them
COVID.
COVID is the one that right, but it had other things before you. The times different and it producing different people and it requiring different things. So I think it's a conversation that we should very healthily make a note and say that we had to continue that talk because
one
people are unemployed now.
I keep saying our biggest problem in Trinidad and Tobago is not just unemployment, it is underemployment. We have a lot of people who are in positions where they can't truly execute their best talents. Because there are people, and Ricardo know my peeve with this, there are people who are 65, 70, 75 who just don't want to retire. Okay. How you expect progression in our workforce when people in the 80s are still managers in companies?
Real. I had to give some
and not just talk.
You mean the closing statement? Part of the
yeah. My thing is, be it on a personal level where we spoke of rest to start the program, you need to understand where you are to be able to affect change. If you are working in a company, you need to understand what the company the position the company is in for you to affect change. And if part of that change or part of the position that you are in is that the persons don't understand the current climate of the economy or the current environment that the business is operating in, how do you expect change to take place? Then you need to reevaluate. On a personal level with the rest, you need to reevaluate where you are, but on a corporate level, you need to reevaluate where this company is, boy. What position we really in?
The driver driving good.
Big up the Lamo. I was actually in primary school. His son was in my class,
I thought you go to see you was in primary school with the Lamo.
Kenny probably teach the Lamo. Anyway, with that being said, guys, I'm gonna pass it on before we sign off, man. Ricardo and Joash.
I think I spoke the most for the episode. I don't know. I end up drifting into both spaces, so I'm gonna keep it short. We're going to continue this conversation because I think it now started to get to the point where we met these things we agree on, we've seen some things we disagree on, but it have things that we have to completely unpack anew. All right? Thank you for staying with us and for coming back on. I know you'll probably come back on to catch Mr. Desmond with the big band, but if you see or hear something that you like, if it's too late to pull back the video on YouTube, you could go to DJ Aaron868 and pull up the living room playlist. You have over 200 episodes to view. Alright, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage, and the host of High Noon. Thank you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains. Whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Alright, catch me Wednesday.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. Well, I don't know when they're watching the episode online. So Monday to Wednesday, High Noon on WAC 90.1 FM. Josh, closing remarks, pontificate if you want. I can always cut something out from the episode, but I want to make sure you
and don't cut out yourself talking, huh?
I wanted to stick the land.
The floor is yours.
Stick the land and do your thing.
Yes, and before we leave, I must add a little contribution. Honestly, I am grateful to be here. Thanks, Aaron and Ricardo, because this space is needed for me. I must thank you all, especially because, as you said, we're navigating life and we're evolving and learning from each other as we do this. So you all with your experience and me in a different way, still helping each other. On the topic today, I think we need to talk more on this. It's something that I've seen a lot of my colleagues in the past in different businesses suffer from not knowing policy, and some of them are currently not being able to rest properly. We didn't even talk about if you need additional rest when you're working on shift. That is something else. So I'm really looking forward to things like that. But for now, that'll be me. I really like to always encourage you all to set aside time for your family, set aside time for those that you love. Rest yourself, and the Almighty Father, you don't want to forget that. I am Joash Webb, always connecting you to my web of influence and to the source, so would always give thanks.
Well, right, Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. I don't think I have anything more to say to close off today's program. Just try and get some rest, that is all. Try and get some rest. I always end by telling you that culture is my code, and I remind you that love is the currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band, and you can catch me on Friday inside the Friday Night Live from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM.